Do you think the gold and silver ratio will get closer to that 15-1?
Oh, I can leave that to others, but yes, I think it's going to come way down because basically J.P. Morgan is in big trouble. They sold silver they don't have. They've been found out. There's a big campaign on the Internet. A lot of people are realizing now what GATA knows. We exposed it at the CFTC March 25th hearing. We brought in a whistleblower, Andrew McGuire, who showed his emails to the CFTC in which he told them exactly when Morgan was going to attack, and they did. And still the CFTC does nothing. There's only one guy there, a fellow named Commissioner Bart Chilton, who's like a modern-day Elliot Ness, is trying to do something about this, but the rest of them are worthless.
Yeah, we've been following that with you guys since earlier this year. It's a very interesting story, and everybody's very thankful for you getting that meeting at the CFTC. How do you feel about the Buy Silver Crash J.P. Morgan campaign? Do you think that is a realistic solution?
Well, it's funny. I got word of an email this morning that one of the top economic newspapers in Israel is talking about it. I mean, what Max Kaiser has done here in his efforts, which I applaud, has a lot of resonance, and it's picking up. And the answer is, I think, yes. But most importantly, that's a big deal. But all you need right now is one billionaire to step up and say, "I'll take what else is left." Right now, we're hearing all sorts of things. You cannot get a lot of people can't get the delivery of the silver they've ordered. There's one story after another creeping up. So I would expect silver to explode sometime, and the bad guys, as we call them, they don't want silver above 30, and they're trying to keep gold below 14.20, but it will not work.
Yeah, all research that you do when it comes to manipulation, it seems like all roads end up leading to something to do with J.P. Morgan. Can you just kind of expand a little bit on why is J.P. Morgan involved in this so heavily? What is their role with the U.S. government? It seems like no matter what we do, what we research, it just always ends up at J.P. Morgan's front door.
It's the Fed's bank. It's that simple. J.P. Morgan is known by even people that don't follow us, but it's the Fed's bank. And as a matter of fact, the Treasury's bank has been Goldman Sachs. What is it, 18 zillion Goldman Sachs employees work for the U.S. Treasury? Of course, that's where they get their inside information flows. If people looked at what really was going on, which we have done in gold and elsewhere, it's one scandal after another. But, of course, scandals, they never really people believe them until they blow up, like a Madoff, Enron. There were scandals all the time. Everyone thought they were so great. There were scandals until it blew up. Nobody wanted to pay attention to the whistleblowers.
Yeah, so we don't know what's going to blow up the currency. It could be this manipulation story. It could be the banks getting overwhelmed. It could be Russia or China. There's so many things that could collapse the U.S. currency. I wanted to see if you had any thoughts on what you think was going to happen over the next year as far as the U.S. dollar and gold.
Well, first of all, it's interesting that Bernanke comes out on 60 Minutes and says, they're not printing money, but they're buying bonds to get the interest rates down, and that's really what they're doing, and he made that very succinctly. So, but what has happened since his presentation on Sunday is the yields are starting to skyrocket in the Treasury market. It's backfiring. And I think that people are realizing, that really what the U.S. government is doing in terms of monetizing things, printing money, and it's going to have its effect in markets. And finally, the bond vigilantes are waking up and saying no mas. And we know the Chinese already are encouraging, which they own so much of our debt. They're encouraging all their people, not all, but whoever can afford it, to buy gold and silver. Their government's buying. People are realizing that this is what's going to happen, not just in the United States, but elsewhere, to the debasement of currency, that the place to go is gold and silver. And it's happening. Right now, the gold cartel, as we call them, is petrified of this. And that's why they raided the market this week for no reason. But again, your stuff, the CRB is near its high. The bond market are realizing what it was doing, and they was in such a panic, they bombed gold and silver. Yeah, but it won't work. You'll see gold and silver go right back up again. It's like keeping a rubber ball underwater.